Hey guys, this is Mr. Nathan, and if you're at Del Bispo Elementary, you probably know who I am. And if you're not, and you just happen to stumble upon this, or one of my students told you to check this out, all you need to know is I'm a nerdy guy who teaches you guys nerdy things like computer programming. And recently, I've had students asking me about how to build levels in video games. So this lesson will be about building levels inside of a maze game, because that's the kind of game they were having trouble on. And what's going to be really cool about the project is that the base code should stay the same between each level. We only just have to adjust the level. So nothing will have to change between levels except for character positions. And what's important to remember is that in programming, there are so many different ways to do things that if you find another way that works for you, or you think, hey, I think I see an easier way of doing this, absolutely try it. That's awesome. Anyway, for my Del Obispo students, I'm probably not going to be quite as goofy as I normally am, since I don't get to react to some of the strange things you do or say. So let's get started. In this video, I built a project with the cat as our player character, or PC, and uploaded two different maze templates into the background, because I'm a programmer, not a maze builder. If I drew our mazes, the lesson would not be as amazing as it could be. I also added two circles, Sprite 2 and Sprite 3. One's going to be where a character starts, and the other one's going to be where a character ends up. So let's be sure we're clicked on our player character, and I'm going to add a little bit of code. So we're going to go to events and grab when the green flag's clicked, and whenever the green flag's clicked, I want our backdrop to be our first maze. In this case, maze. I wasn't very creative when coming up with names. And we're then going to go into control and grab a forever loop. And we're going to grab some if-thens. I'm going to grab for, if then, if then, if then, and if then. So if-thens just basically mean if this is true, do that. So I'm going to go click on sensing. I'm going to click key up. And if we have up, we're obviously going to need down. And once we got that down, we're going to grab the left key. And once we have the left key, all that's left is right, right? Now, once we have all four keys, and they don't have to be in this order, but it's a nice way to have it all laid out, we're going to go to motion. And for up and down, we're going to change something called the Y value. And the Y value is basically just up and down on this two-dimensional plane. So just remember, up is positive and down is negative. As for left and right, we're going to change something called X. And X is its horizontal position or its left and right position. So we're going to change left by -10 and change X by 10. So just remember, Y is up and down, X is left and right. I've taught this a bunch, and it's one of the biggest things students struggle with. Now that we can move, all we need to do is add two more if-thens. And these are going to be a little bit different. So if then and if then. We're going to go to sensing. And if touching, so if we're touching the maze or the color of the maze, which is black, all we're going to do is go to motion. And we are going to go to, and it's going to say random position right here, but we're going to change it to Sprite 2. So whenever we hit the black mark on the screen, we're just going to go back to where we started. Now we're going to go back to sensing and do if touching, and it's going to say mouse pointer, but all we're going to do is click on this and change it to Sprite 3. And then we're going to go to looks and assign next backdrop. And here's where the code gets a little different than what we've been doing. I'm going to click on events, and I'm going to do when backdrop switches to maze and when backdrop switches to maze 2. And all we're going to do is we're going to go to motion, and we're going to go to sprite 2. I'm also going to right click or double click or control alt click duplicate. And now whenever the level changes, it's going to go to its starting position. So we're going to click on sprite 2 now. And this is where the code gets a little bit different beyond the little bit different we just got it to. We're going to go to events and grab when backdrop switches to maze and when backdrop switches to maze 2. And we're going to assign some location values. So I'm just going to click the green flag to make sure we're where we need to go. I'm going to go to motion. I am going to go to x215 and y negative 165. And I'm going to click the green flag just to make sure it's where I want it to be. Perfect. I'm going to stop the code from running. And then when backdrop switches to maze 2, I'm going to go to x207 and y negative 156. And get rid of that 7 for some reason. Then, instead of the green sprite, all we're going to do is pretty much the same thing, just with different numbers. When backdrop switches to maze, and when backdrop switches to maze 2. I'm going to go to motion. Then, I'm going to go to x negative 212, y positive 159, and we're going to go to x minus 150, or negative 150, and y is going to be positive 149. And now let's click the green flag and see what happens. Start off in my first thing. My arrow keys are working just great. Now, if I fail the maze, then I'm just going to drag my character over because I don't think anyone wants to see me get angry at my own video game. Then, oh, looks like I might get it. Nope. So I'm just going to drag this over now because I would probably fail this a bunch of times and just go straight up and check it out. I can now get through the maze without having to change any code beyond position. So it's a super cool, quick little way of making levels. If you feel like making your own levels, go for it. That's awesome. See if you can figure out how to program it in on top of this template. And I'll see you guys next time.